a prisoner of conscience by Amnesty International. And of course, this continues today, right? I mean, people are still getting detained under the ISA, most recently after the Hindra and so on, so forth. So there's a continuing pattern of the Malaysian government detaining people without charge. We've just heard about defamation case, Raja Petra Kamarudin, another blogger, who sued for defamation. 1 million, 2 million ringgit?
2 million.
2 million ringgit. And all that. Now, we have similar things in Singapore. One of the things that I think has come out of this pattern has been a climate of fear. Singaporeans, if I may be so bold as to put forward a thesis, are very much affected by examples of detention and defamation and bankruptcy and all that. And we see a climate of fear coming out of that. Do you see in Malaysia people reacting to such a history by clamming up, by saying, oh, I'm not political, I've got nothing to do with politics? Do you see that? Or was it like that and it has changed recently? Just give us some thoughts on that.
I think we have already reached that threshold. I think we have already got to the point where, the tipping point really. I don't see, perhaps the government may decide to clamp down the internet given the fact that, they are getting a lot more worried now. But I don't see it being able to do it successfully. I think there will be definitely a lot more protests. When we came around in 1999, we were alone, more or less. We are the only website out there doing internet sort of activism kind of thing. Now we've been joined by a whole group of bloggers, and other people are coming in to set up websites and all that. So in that sense, there will be a lot more protests there, and you've got a stronger opposition, you've got a more vibrant civil society. It's going to be very, very hard for the government to kind of stuff.
Perhaps later on you can talk about these other bloggers that have come out, whether they've remained anonymous out of fear or whatever reason, that kind of thing. Okay, Nathaniel, a question for you. You helped coordinate.
Clarify something?
Sure. Yes, John. This is John Tan from the Singapore Democratic Party.
Thank you. So does that mean that they were that way before, the Malaysian? Meaning the fear that Alex was talking about. You said that you have reached a tipping point, right? Does that mean that before that?
I think the fear is always there. I mean, perhaps they are, maybe it's not as great as in Singapore, because I think Singapore is perhaps a different case. But in Malaysia, there is similarities in terms of the fact that you've got similar set of restrictive laws, but I think there are a lot more people are willing to at least speak out and being able to more or less put ourselves on the line really. So in that sense, I think it's safety in numbers. Since that you're not alone and that there are other people out there, I think in that sense it makes it a lot easier for Malaysians.
Okay, from a question for that 1 minute question, 2 minute answer. You helped coordinate the PKR campaign sites, you oversaw their internet strategy and so on and so forth, yeah? And you yourself were detained under the ISA for 4 days and nights, 4 days, 5 nights, 3 days, 4 nights, whatever it is.
Not the ISA.
Not the ISA?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can use a lot of other laws.
Okay, there are plenty of laws, yeah. Alright, it just last year, yes? But anyway, it's more about the internet here. It seems to me that in this recent election, the incumbent government, Barisan Nasional, was really not using the internet at all. And it's part of this pattern where, for example, Singaporeans might remember after our last election in 2006, there was this MP, I think her name was Denise Phua. Was it Denise Phua? Who said, oh dear, like 85% of the internet was anti-PAP. And she was rather very surprised. You remember that, people? Or you're also so young?
It pretends.
That's right. Okay. Anyway, is it true that the Barisan Nasional really didn't exploit it? And do you have, did you see, supporters of the BN also using the internet? And if there is this discrepancy, some top of your mind ideas, why this discrepancy in behavior?
It is generally true that, good evening everyone, it is generally true that the BN did not use the internet in the same way that we did, or to the extent that we did. They certainly use it. You know, they've got pretty spiffy websites. They probably spend 5 times, 10 times what we spend on it. But one of the points I'd like to make throughout the night is that the internet is a very, this is a bit repetitive, but the internet is a very neutral tool. It is the most neutral tool ever. I mean, anyone can use it for anything. And it's a very important point to remember. It's not an opposition specific thing. It's not a civil society specific thing. It's not a pornography specific thing. You can wear any hat you want it to wear. I think one of the main reasons DN did not use did not engage on the cyber front as much is because the other quite cool quality of the internet is that it's a very level playing field. It is the battleground of ideas in which again it's very level. And on a level playing field when it comes to ideas, when it comes to track records, when it comes to things like racism and things like that, you find that DN did not have the as I said yesterday, they had, if they were to engage, they would be bringing knives to a gunfight sort of thing. In terms of ideas, in terms of vision for the future, in terms of fresh politics and things like that, we clearly had the upper hand. So what they did was to stick to the mainstream media, stick to broadcast, TV, print, the media that they could control, so that they could set their own agenda and not respond to what was being said online. So I think that's the main difference, and that's the.
Perhaps you can elaborate on this a little later, if people
sure.
Just watch their faces as you talk.
I'll try.
Okay? So you can see whether they're interested or they're not interested, and then you can sort of like mold your future sentences accordingly. Some of the tricks that I use, for example. Yeah. Okay, Steven.